Hey, Craig, let's get into some coffee talk.
Hey, I love it. I love doing some coffee talk.
Well, talk about what?
Dogs, daughters, whatever. It's coffee talk.
Coffee talk. Boom, 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 boom. Mr.
Stop
Craig.
grabbing it. Stop grabbing at my coffee.
Oh, I need some coffee. I'm about ready for some coffee. Why do I keep talking without coffee?
You need coffee, or your dog's gonna bite your daughter.
That's for
That's a coffee
sure.
talk. You know,
Literally, our East Coast people are thinking these guys are the dumbest clowns from the West Coast.
well, the West Coast people are probably thinking that too.
Yeah.
Did you get the Breville yet?
I did not. I need
Oh,
to. But I do like my Nespresso machine.
no. Next level. So when you have your list of 3 things that you need to do, at the top of
Yes.
that list, put log on to Amazon and buy Breville.
Okay.
I
Is
think I
that
sent
good?
you the link. You gotta
You
click that.
did. My wife won't let me get another gadget for the kitchen. I'll be
This
honest.
special gadget, and
It is a
this
special.
gadget makes you a more effective leader.
Ooh.
It does.
Ooh. Yeah, that Chris Plackey, man, that was some fire.
Yeah. We even got
And
into
it's
social issues
one
a
of my
little.
favorite parts of the conversation. Yes, my favorite part of that conversation was that, like, d- uh, you know, do we got to stand up as a leader,
Hmm.
but there's so many different causes now, and there's so many different sides to each cause. It's not black and white like it used to be, right? So, I started thinking about this more and more after that interview, and we really need to figure out what is right for us to stand up for. But I think that I think a lot of times we just hide from it and don't think about it because it's so complex, right? Some of these issues are so complex. Um,
Yeah. Well,
so
you'd have to, in order to really take a position in something, right or wrong position, you have to know the, at least know enough where you're not floundering around there. And that
yep,
does take a lot of time. There's some resources involved in taking a position. And I
yep.
don't mean a Facebook position where you suck, blah blah blah, right? Like I mean, I'm really limiting my Facebook time, but
But
like if it comes up, right, in conversation, are you going to take that
isn't that
position?
isn't the point of a leader to empathize with everybody that they're leading? Like a leader should never point fingers. I mean, even if somebody
Sure.
has a different view as you need to empathize from their standpoint, because if they feel a certain way about something, and they're feeling negative to something that you think is a positive thing, there
Yeah.
must be some sort of pain behind it. So they experienced something. They attached something in their past that was painful to that, and
Mm.
that's why they don't like it. So it's really like we don't understand where everybody comes from. I mean, we all come from different places. Like even when we started with Chris, like I brought up, I said, asking her about, I'll never know what it's like to be a woman in the workplace. Like I'll never understand it. I could say it all day long. We could talk about it.
You'd
I could hear
empathize.
every bad story and empathize with
Yeah.
it, but I'll never be that. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? I'm never going to be a black dude growing up in the US. So I don't know how it feels,
Hmm.
right? Not that I want to get into any issues that
Yeah.
or
So what is your
politics, but
position on?
yeah. But that's the thing, like I know that
Yeah.
there's so much pain with everybody with these issues, and
Sure.
they all have we all have painful pasts, and we attach it to these things, right? Like those labels that she was talking about. But we need to understand that and not get attached to the label, but understand what are those experiences that people have attached to those labels that are painful, and that, just be real with them, be human and help each
Yeah.
other out.
What's challenging is that when something like this comes up, somebody takes a position, it's usually or it seems to be out of a defensive and emotional position. And then
Yes.
once the emotions start going, then it's really difficult to have a conversation. And I know that I, for one, and you, we've talked about this a lot, want to take the emotion out of it and just try to have a conversation. I mean, at the end of the day, we're all people, we're all humans. Here, we're mostly, if not all, insurance dudes and dudettes. We can have these dialogues.
Mm-hmm.
We must have these dialogues because that's how societies get better. That's how societies learn about the other ones. We're not living out in the jungle where when 200 million years ago we were just running around and, oh, they're from the other place, we're going to throw rocks at them, right? Like, no,
Other
we
stuff.
all live together and we need to understand each other, right? I think
Right.
it's interesting how if you're one-on-one with somebody, it could be almost anybody, as long as it's not Charles Manson or some crazy person, and you could have a good conversation, right? But the second
Yeah.
it's my clan versus your clan, and um, strange use of word, my group versus your group, and this whole thing, right? And it becomes more defensive, and it's just interesting how the dynamic changes once it's associated with a group, right?
Yeah. And to your point with the pain part of it behind it, like with the emotional part about it behind it, when somebody does get emotional, usually we get defensive or something, right? But
Hmm.
like understanding, like if somebody gets emotional about something, there's pain behind it. Like somebody broke their foot and you're walking by them on a street and they broke their foot or bleeding out of their leg, you'd probably be like, "Oh my gosh, are you okay? Is there something
Right.
I can do to help you?" But why is it emotionally when we see the emotional version of that, which is, um, which is, like some sort of painful way that somebody talks about something, or what we would label as emotional. Somebody gets heated about something. Why don't we look at it like that? Why don't we look at it like, hey man, they're bleeding, like they need some help, or
Mm.
or they're painful, like they have some experience that sucks. Like be there for them. You know what
We
I
go
mean?
from, instead of helping, we go to solving, where
And
it's
hurting.
solving, right? And hurting,
Yeah.
right? Like, no, that's
Yeah.
not why would you say it that way? You need to do this. It's like
Oh,
we question their reality, and then question their reality or story, and then tell them it needs to be this way when it should be, hey, I noticed that you got excited when X, Y, and Z happened. That's interesting. You know
yeah.
why? What happened there? And then you can get some insight, understand. I think that it is amazing how the way that the words are delivered can really affect the way that the conversation goes. And I know everybody's been in the conversation where something is said differently than perhaps it was intended to be received, and then it just
It
spirals, right?
spirals. Yeah.
That'll happen a lot in marriage, right? Where if especially in under these uncertain times where you're jammed in the house together for a long time, somebody may not be feeling great, the other person is, and wrong thing, and then you're like, whoa, 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 let's time out. But
Yep.
a lot of times there's no timeout allowed. So yeah, I think that it's important to pause and carefully choose those words so that you have a
Yes.
positive outcome on that conversation. But we have to be able to have these conversations.
Yes. And as leaders, we need to lead with love, be empathetic, whether it be at home as, as we're leading our families
Mhm.
and leading our agencies, lead with love, be empathetic. When I realize that with my son's a pretty difficult child, and he's super emotional with things, and he goes right, like, why do you guys always, he says it, like, gets pissed at everything.
Mhm.
And he always thinks that like everybody's attacking him and stuff. And
Hmm.
it's hard to come to those places. When you're a parent, it's really hard to empathize at times, especially
Yeah.
when there's yelling and there's multiple kids involved. It's like, dude, my head explodes. Boom, like, like everybody's knocking off. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's yeah, that interview on Wednesday made me really think about a lot of stuff with the label part of that, you know?
Yeah.
Like even saying that
Well,
he gets pissed. Like what does that mean? That's not telling you what he does. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Your version of
Yeah.
him being pissed would be maybe different than my
Yeah.
version.
It is amazing. The perspective changes everything.
It does.
There's so much, and you referring to complicated and the complexity of issues, like just the perspective is complex.
Yeah.
Everything, like my perspective on whatever subject can be totally different than your perspective on that very same subject, because my perspective is built of the millions of interactions that I've had since I was a baby to now
Hmm.
with regards to that, right?
Yep.
To everything. Like it could
Yeah.
be to sushi. Sushi's awesome. You say sushi sucks. Oh, well, you got food poisoning. We're in the hospital and blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
Right? Some thing. And that's just a simple thing.
And I do
So,
not say sushi sucks.
no, I know you ordered it yesterday. So I'm
Yeah.
pretty certain
I,
that
di- I didn't. I ended up getting it
did you
at
get
dinner.
sick?
They weren't open. Yeah. The
Well,
virus.
they suck. No, see, they don't. Well, that's unfortunate. I bet you don't
Yeah.
prefer that they're not open,
No, of course not. Nope.
but maybe they needed some time with their family.
Truth. Well, I think that was a good deep coffee talk. I think that alone will change how you're treated. It goes back to that thing. I always say it's funny how the people that say that they have bad luck are the ones that treat people like crap, right? The
Mhm.
the ones that like they're so negative about everything, and then they wonder why they get so much negative them. But if you empathize more and you're more loving, people are going to be more empathetic
Yeah,
and loving to you. It's just
100%.
natural. People kind of mirror you with, you know what I mean, with your interaction. So
Yeah.
going into this weekend, I think everybody like, let's just step back when we hit those roadblocks that might be difficult emotionally
Mhm.
and just realize if we can just reset it, come with a little bit more love, we might feel a little bit more love back.
100%. They say you get back what you put out.
That's true.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love it.
And then
Coffee
there's
talk.
the old golden rule: do unto others as you would
Subscribe.
have them do unto you. Yeah.
Oh,
And the other golden rule, which is before you go home, subscribe, do a
to the
rating, do all that stuff. Yeah. So
the
we got the
tubes of
YouTube.
you, the
He likes to
YouTubes,
call it the tubes of you. You can
iTunes,
choose.
the iTunes, the iTunes, the
Yeah.
iTubes, the Facebook
Spotify.
groups, the Spotify's.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Those Facebook
Let's
groups are
let's get
fire.
out of here. Let's
Yeah. I got to
clock
go
out
home.
for the day,
I
man.
like your
It's time for the
millennial office.
weekend.
Get out of here.
Let's get out of here.
Yes. Get that. I'll see you on the flippity flip.
Hey, you've got to check out the Insurance Dudes Inner Circle coming soon, where you get extended interviews as well as live coffee talks in our private Facebook group. Join the mailing list today at theinsurancedudespodcast.com. Hey, thanks for checking out the Insurance Dudes. Hey, please subscribe. We got some really great stuff coming out.